We eating good today, people. We eating good today. We're eating good today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my Manchester Derby match reaction. Apologies for it being late. I was meant to film this yesterday, but I was busy. Obviously watched the game, then I went to do a pub quiz, because why not celebrate? Didn't win the pub quiz, if you were wondering, but anyway, let's talk about the Manchester Derby yesterday. Come on, Manchester United! I'm so hyper. Might need to just lob this so Ollie Murs can't use it in his next prank. Anyway, welcome to the match review. Manchester United win at the Etihad. Man United win away against a top 6 side for the first time in 15 games. Something like that. We've won an away match against a top 6 side. Ruben Amorim walks through the door and does something absolutely wonderful. We've beaten Manchester City again, twice in the space of 6 months. We beat them in the FA Cup final under Ten Hag, and we've done it again, this time under Amorim, who's been in a job less than a month, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know. And yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, let's talk about the game. Oh, what a game it was. What a game it was. So obviously we start off with a bit of controversy because as the team news comes out, there's no Rashford, there's no Garnacho in the matchday squad, let alone in the starting 11. They're not on the bench. They're not available for selection. Ruben Amorim has left them at home and said, I don't like what I've seen in training. I don't like... I think he says something about engaging with fellow teammates or people around the club. I don't like it. He's left them at home. You go and sit there, whack it on Sky and listen to Mike Dean absolute drivel for a little bit, and the rest of the comment. Well, we don't mind the pundits, do we? Or the commentators. But yeah, he told him to sit at home, make yourself a cuppa. You are not involved in the game today, and it could have backfired, but it didn't. And I'm actually more glad we won. Obviously for the result, for the feeling, for the fans, but it just shows now Man United can win games without Garnacho and Rashford, so they need to improve in order to get back into this team, because we started without them, we didn't have them available on the bench, and we've still won. So what does that show for them? They need to switch on now. They need to get their heads in the game, because, yeah, I don't want to talk about them too much because I might do a separate video on them later on in the week, but for now, let's talk about the game. We start off, I'll tell you what, we set up quite well, we really did. I mean, Harry Maguire came in, Mason Mount came in, and again, unfortunately for Mason Mount, he came off injured after 14 minutes. So unlucky. I do feel really bad for him, but you can't look past how bad of a signing that's been. So already, Ruben Amorim's under the cosh there, because he's set up with his team. He's had it obviously planned for a few days because of a certain journalist leaked it out the day before the game. The night before the Manchester Derby, that team, the exact team was leaked. I hate these team leakers. Whoever's doing it, obviously someone inside the club, maybe one of the players. Maybe it was one of Rashford or Garnacho. I don't know. We don't know that information. All that's been told for them is we're bad at training, bad with engaging with fellow teammates and people around the club. So I don't know the reason for that. But Amorim there has been thrown straight into the deep end. He's got 2 wingers, fast-paced wingers that normally we'd use against City, and he's not got them at his disposal today. He's then also got, obviously, the leaked team news coming out. He's then got Mason Mount, who he's had planned to play in that game previously before he's had to come off, and then he's had to change it again. Obviously brought Kobbie Mainoo on and pushed Bruno Fernandes further up. So all these things are happening, and Amorim still kept it cool and still won the game. So you've got to give him credit. You have to give Ruben Amorim credit there. Yeah, I'm still on an absolute high after that win. I'm not going to lie, because, I mean, yes, we've barely moved in the table. In fact, I don't think we have moved at all, because Tottenham won, didn't they, yesterday? So we aren't moving in the table, but to beat Manchester City is just such a good feeling. To do it in that manner, 1-0 down, 88th minute, 90th minute, a goal, 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes. There's nothing better. There's nothing better than that, and I'll never forget it. It's not like we've won a trophy or anything, but I'll never forget that absolute feeling of doing that. Obviously, Man City are in a bit of a rut at the minute. They're not playing well. I mean, God knows what's going on there. I've got no idea. If any City fans, I'm friends with a lot of City fans, any City fans can tell me what is happening there. Because, again, sometimes people blame it on injuries and stuff. I get it, Rodri's not there, but they had near enough a fully fit squad there. They near enough did. Obviously, Rico Lewis out with suspension. But they had Kovacic and John Stones back on the bench. They were without Akanji, I think, and Ake maybe the only two honourable omissions out of that squad. So they have a good squad. I don't really know what's going wrong with them. And can we just talk about Kyle Walker, please? Please, can we do that? In fact, let me talk about the City goal first, because, yeah, United can see from a set piece again, or a set play again, a corner taken short. It looked bad. Like, I think De Bruyne passed it to Gundogan. Gundogan then laid it back off to De Bruyne, but it was a really under-hit pass, and Ahmad nearly nicked it. De Bruyne then just gets there first, takes a big deflection, so the cross is massively deflected in, and then we're just so bad at defending. I think it was Højlund and Dalot who were unable to mark Vardy, and it was a good header, fair play. City go 1-0 up, but in the first half, it just wasn't a great game. I mean, no teams were really posing a threat. Second half, United were a lot better, and I think, genuinely, we deserve to win the game. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I think we definitely deserve to win the game today. Let's talk about Kyle Walker. God. Embarrassing, actually. In fact, I don't think it's spoken about enough. It's embarrassing. The guy is Manchester City's captain, so he's the senior leader of the team. He's 34 years of age, and he's behaving like an absolute child. What is he doing? So, for those of you that, I'm sure you would have seen it, but if you haven't, Højlund gets fouled by Kyle Walker, but he's not happy with it, which I don't mind. He goes over to confront him. You like to see that in a derby. You like to see him going head-to-head. They're both going head-to-head against each other. And then Kyle Walker dramatically just falls to the floor. Out of absolutely nowhere. Like, nothing happened. It wasn't like... At first, when it was all going on, I was like, oh, no, please. Because if we get a red card here, it's over. It's over. So I was begging, please, that Højlund hadn't done anything, and he didn't. He absolutely didn't. They both put their heads together against each other, and Kyle Walker falls to the floor like a sack of potatoes. An absolute embarrassment to his family, or all three of them. Too far. Is it? No. No, it is a little bit too far. Is it? Yeah, probably is. Anyway, ignore that. But yeah, Kyle Walker, pretty embarrassing, if you ask me. And do you know what? He's getting a lot of stick online, obviously, the past few weeks. Some of it you don't agree with because that's abuse, to be quite frank. Some of it's abuse, which you can't tolerate. But to do that in a game like this, a Manchester derby, is just going to give you more stick anyway. It's just going to pile that pressure on, pile that abuse he was getting on, which, again, I don't agree with abuse, but why has he done that? Why has he acted like a baby in a game like this? I don't know. It's not like Kyle Walker, is it really? But he's just going through a tough time at the minute. He's not great. He's in a bad run of form, and I think he's lost it. I don't think he's a great player, and I think he was an absolute embarrassment on that pitch yesterday, and I'm so glad we won because of that moment. It really riled me up, that. Because I get it, like, both players get booked for going head-to-head, but why is there not more punishment for someone, a 34-year-old bloke, diving on the floor like that against a kid? How is he not getting another yellow for that? It's a dive. It's a blatant dive in a derby with God knows how many cameras on it. I think he should be getting punished more than that. Dock him wages as well, because it's embarrassing. Anyway, we go on to the second half, and Man United, we were really good. We were so good. I mean, shout out to Ugarte in that middle. I think Mainoo's performance went under the radar because it's become the norm now, how good he actually is. Those two in the middle were brilliant today. Manuel Ugarte, if it wasn't for Ahmad winning that game, Ugarte was my man of the match. 100%. He was very, very good, and it sort of shows to everyone else who's sort of doubting the signing at the start of the year, it's going to be a good signing. Just believe me, it's going to be a good signing. He's already had countless amazing performances. This isn't the first good performance he's had. In the last 3 games, he's been probably our best player. He's having countless amazing performances now in a Man United shirt, so I'm glad. And under Amorim, we knew it was going to work, so I'm really glad for Manuel Ugarte. I thought he played really well. But let's go on to the penalty, the first sort of decision in the second half. I think we should have had a penalty. Højlund gets brought down by Ruben Diaz. And Mike Dean, yes, Mike Dean, who was employed by Sky to talk about refereeing decisions during a game. So you've got Peter Drury there, you've got Gary Neville, then you've got Mike Dean. Now, I'm just going to... Here's a little point for you, Sky. Why don't you just sack him, for starters? It's a waste of your wage to employ somebody who's going to agree with every decision the referee makes. Every single one. So the referee waves no penalty. They're then checking it, I think, having murmurs, and obviously Mike Dean's agreeing. And he's saying, you can't give a penalty in a game like this. What's that meant to mean? What on earth is that meant to mean? You can't give a penalty in a game like this. That's mental how we can say that. What does that even mean? So it's a big game. Yeah, we're not giving a penalty for that. But what does that actually mean? It's mental. And you know what the funny thing is? If VAR then went on to change their decision and say, yes, it's a penalty, he would have agreed with that as well. He would have changed his mind and he would have agreed with that. He will agree with whatever the referee says. And it's the same with Dermot Gallagher on Sky, who does it the next day on Ref Watch, whatever it is, because that's a shocking show as well. Sky's gone downhill, man. It's really gone downhill. But if you want my advice, get rid of them too, because they're not needed. They are not needed. You can save yourself a little wage package there and not splashing it on Mike Dean to agree with referees, which we know he's going to do anyway. No point. Anyway, mini rant over. That should have been a pen. But we did get one. We had that smash and grab. Mateus Nunes with a poor back pass. Ahmad latches onto it. And he was so clever, Ahmad. Ahmad Diallo was so clever here because you can see Nunes running at him, obviously trying to recover from the mistake. And he just knocks the ball into the box a little bit because at first he was outside the box, just sort of waiting for somebody to help him out. I mean, Xerxes, striker, should have been running in there. Bruno was trying to help him out, but he was just stood there. He knocks the ball a little bit into the box. So he's just inside that box. Gets brought down, penalty kick. Bruno Fernandes steps up, scores, drops that little celly on him, doesn't he? Who else? And I love that from Bruno. I love that because I think he had quite an underrated game yesterday. Just thought I'd let you know as well, we're not doing player ratings because I've waited a day later. The player ratings website / app isn't available because obviously you can only do it straight after the game. So yeah, apologies for that, but I'll give a quick summary of player ratings later. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes levels it, and then just like that, I'm thinking, all right, we'll settle for that. We'll take a draw. But if anyone was to win this game, it would be us. And what did we go and do? We won the game. In astonishing fashion as well. Astonishing fashion. And City didn't have a shot, by the way, in the second half on target. They're really bad. I mean, Haaland was missing in the game. It's really baffling. But anyway, let's talk about our winning goal. I keep going off little tangents, don't I? Martinez with an absolute wonderful pass over to Amad Diallo, who takes an incredible touch. I don't know what Ederson's doing for the goal, but Amad takes an incredible touch round the keeper and just slots it in. Simple as that. Straight into the back. And it's actually a very good finish on the volley as well. Amad, man, what a performance from him. What a performance. He's I've said it for ages. He's my favourite player to watch in the United shirt. He's so good. So good. And to think other managers weren't playing him beforehand is crazy. It's mental. But anyway, Man United win the game. Quick player ratings if you want them. Everyone at least a 7. Ahmad an 8. Ruben Amorim a 10. You got everything right. Subs were correct. Set up well. Dropped two of the best, the biggest names in the club. Didn't need him today. So credit to Amorim. Credit to Manchester United. What a win. Bring on Thursday.